Can we start with Hayden Young? Feels like he's almost ready to play, wants to play. You know what players are like, they're always pushing up.
Yeah.
What is his scenario right at this moment? If, say, he had a big session today, would he be a chance or is it next week?
No, next week. Yeah, he's still got some boxes to tick. Yeah, and it's great to see when players, and most of them are the same, when they come to the end of their rehab, they want to get out there and get going. But, yeah, it's about making sure he's right to finish off the year really well, and once he gets back, we keep him back. So there's still a bit of conditioning work to do there.
Does that return come via the waffle as well, given an extended layoff like at the start of the year as well?
It's a chance, yeah. He has missed a lot of footy, and we'll see how the team shapes up next week. But, yeah, it's probably a likely option.
The sub as well, though, you did that with Fifey, and I think even Jager, but more Fifey scenario. Could that be something that for him?
Yeah, all options are on the table. See how he gets through these last couple of big sessions. We'll see if we can squeeze him in the 22 sub, or he has to go through Peel. We'll be a little bit guided by the fitness staff and what they think is best for his build, but yeah, all options are on the table still.
What about positionally, Justin? Is it definitely midfield, or do you see some value in him coming back at half-back?
No, probably midfield, I'd imagine. Yeah, he probably need a bigger body in there, and he's proven that he can play mid-forward really well, and I think that's probably where he'll likely go.
Do you reckon he
would
have...
that he's spent in the coach's box, do you see value in that for you guys as coaches or for him as a player?
Oh, both. Like it's about quite often, well, all the time we say to our players when they get injured, let's control what they can control and focus on what you can do, not what you can't do. And sometimes you can get caught up, I'm injured and woe is me, but we try and get them to focus on what they can do. And part of Youngie's focus that he's driven is spend more time in the coach's box, but also spend some time with Joel Corey and understanding game situation, especially around centre bounce and stoppage and those types of things to try and build his capacity. So, he's approached that really well.
Justin, how that ability to adapt in game, how crucial is that for your players to understand that? Essentially have the on-field coaches to understand the moment, like we saw with Caleb first quarter, to make an impact at quarter time as opposed to letting it continue to flow.
Yeah, it's critical. We've been well documented that we're a young team, and our leaders are young as well, and done a really good job to sort their own games out. Now it's the opportunity to lead others and understanding structures and game situation, and trying to make change on the fly with those things. And what Youngie's done over the break will hold him in good stead. Caleb's usually really good at that, and we're building a depth of leadership in that next level, which is understanding the game situation. And I think we've seen an improvement in that side of our game to be able to win some tighter games this year. It's clearly some work to do.
So in terms of that, where do you feel that the team is right now? Because as you mentioned, quite young, you've got the talent, and there has been times you've been exploited, but other times you've showed great maturity in it and growth. Where do you feel as though the leadership is right now in terms of making those on-field adjustments?
We're growing, and we haven't got the 250 gamers that some other teams have. So we're asking a lot of some of our other players. We're growing in that. We're growing with each experience. Like I said, I feel like we've learnt from some of the experiences last year and we've been able to hold on in tight games, being able to show some maturity in those games. Even on the weekend, the game wasn't going our way in the first half, but we were able to get the game on our terms. We left ourselves too much work to do and couldn't finish off in the last quarter, but we were mature enough to be able to stick at it and adjust and get the game back on our terms, especially around clearance and field position wise. So, you're never the finished product though in this game. And we're asking our players to evolve all the time and learn from their experiences and add to their games, and leadership's a big part of that.
And with Caleb, would you, if you work out who the Hawthorne Tagger could be, would you as the coach say, right, this is the bloke that we've got to keep an eye on today and take energy out of his body, whatever it is you decide what tactics you'll use against him?
Yeah, clearly we need to be better at that, Barra. Yep. We need to support Caleb more. or Andy, or Jordan Clark for that matter, who got some attention on the weekend. We need to be able to support those guys, and we need to keep providing Caleb with options to be able to move to different areas of the ground. Had a bit of impact as a forward in the third quarter and kicked a goal, which was pretty important for us, and keep trying to evolve those things as we get some depth through the middle of the ground back. We can use Caleb in other areas and not be so reliant on him.
Do you expect there to be potentially increased physicality then in that sense if they do come after one of the star players from your side?
There's a lot of different ways we can do it, and it's not always about physicality. It's about being able to manipulate the stoppage, but you can only manipulate the stoppage if you're all on the same page and the other players are working with Caleb. So there's a few different aspects to it.
Yeah, so it helps when you're winning too, or going better at the clearances, doesn't it? That's harder. It's harder to protect him when they're winning the ball.
Yeah, and I think that was what was going on the weekend. Is we were getting beaten at centre bounce, we're getting beaten in the clearances, and players are probably more worried about trying to problem solve there rather than help Caleb.
Should Sam's capacity for boxes get picked, how does that change your forward structure considering you sent out Pat possibly?
I haven't worked that out yet.
Is it something though where you could look to go a bit smaller? There's obviously a little bit of questions around Johnny Anderson's form as well.
Yeah, we could look to go a little bit smaller. We haven't discussed that yet as a match committee, but we also feel like the height has helped us throughout the course of the year, and especially the last 2 months. Probably comes down to a little bit what we want to do with Jacko and Sean as well. So we've got a few discussions at match committee.
David King is quite vocal in his criticism and questioning yourself in the future. Do you feel like comments around him up there, considering you only lost by 2 kicks and won 6 in a row before that?
To be honest, if I had $1 for every time someone asked me what I've done to David King, I'd be a rich man and I'd probably be in the Bahamas, guts up, rather than doing this job. So, and in the end, like, everyone needs to understand that it's just David's opinion. And we're a game based on opinion, and that's his opinion. That's enough said about it, really. I don't want to be disrespectful towards anyone, but I don't think David's put together a game plan, put together a list, put together a culture. So, it's just an opinion, and that's what I take it as.
But the fact of the matter is, too, though, since the first season you've been in charge, you've not won less than 10 games. Your record is 52% winning streak. Win-loss record. The numbers speak for itself. Do you feel like you don't get enough credit for actually what you've done, and it's always what you haven't done almost?
Well, I think that's fair. Like, some of those things you just mentioned are facts. So to be honest, I don't get caught up in it because I'm always looking forward and looking towards how I can improve my coaching, how I can improve the way we're playing, and trying to live by the mantra that I teach the players every day, and that's living in the moment. So I know people get caught up in it, and some people around me get caught up in that stuff, but really I'm just focused on the opinions of the people that I trust around this club and doing the best I can. So,
but it's important to know, isn't it, that you're only a win and percentage out of top 4. I don't think anyone's been attacked for being a win and a percentage out of top 4. I mean, it is a bit ridiculous.
Oh, you said that. Yeah, it seems a little bit over the top, but it seems to be his way with me. And
this pressure on coaches, though, like Vossi now getting a death threat, how tough is it being a coach?
Well, I understand there's a lot of passion in our game, and everyone's got an opinion because of that passion, and I love it. That passion drives our game. It drives the money within our game. It drives supporters to go and latch onto a club and support the club and buy merch. I love the passion, but there's a line that you can't cross, and I'm not 100% sure of the Vossi situation, but clearly a line's been crossed there. And in the end, it is just a game. I know there's passion involved, and we all want our teams to win every week and finish on top of the ladder and win the flag every year. I understand that, but there's a line you can't cross. And in the end, it is just a sport. And if he's getting death threats, that's gone way too far.
Do you worry that things like that, the criticism that is so heaped on coaches, especially on social media and then by people in the media and stuff, that it'll discourage good coaches from entering the market? I do. Mixed with how hard a job it is.
and how many hours you have to work. And your life is consumed by coaching, and senior coaches get a lot more rewarded financially, in particular, than some of the assistants that you have to do the hard yards to get to this role. And then pile on the criticism is it does make it not as attractive as sitting on the other side of the TV screen.
I don't think you want to agree with this, but it feels like it's a virtual mini final this weekend because you're playing Hawthorn. If you beat them, you'll draw level with them. It's at Optus. They're two teams that are fighting for the 8. It's almost like finals like pressure, isn't it?
And that's what you get this time of the year. There'd be 9 other clubs or 8 other clubs in similar position, and even more so because Sydney, they're fighting for their season as well, and maybe Port Adelaide and some of these clubs. You have to deal with that, and the outcome-based talk and noise becomes really loud this time of the year. And what we've got to be really good at is making sure we remain really process-orientated, focus on winning the day, winning each meeting, winning each training session, and making sure we prepare really well. And not write any of those stories because you're right. I do it win this week and this and that, and you start playing out these stories in your head, and they're all based around outcomes. And trust me, they don't help players perform on weekends.
What about in terms of a more broader football question? You're the first team since the top 8 came in that's been 10 wins after 6 league rounds. It says a lot about the top end and how equal it is, but the gap between yourself then and the rest of it is quite vast. Do you feel like the competition needs to do something to try and make it a bit tighter?
Oh, not really, because I think it's a bit of an anomaly. I don't think we've seen this in recent years. So I'd hate for us to overreact to 1 year maybe. And like I said, I don't think teams below us will be thinking they're out of it. But I like making decisions based on patterns rather than overreacting on one season. So I think the last 3 years before this have been really even, right up until the death. The last game of last year, which we were involved in, shaped the 8. So this year looks like it could be a little bit different, but it's not changed because of 1 year.
It'd be soul destroying to have 14 wins and miss the 8, though, wouldn't it? Can you imagine that? Some years you'd be top 4.
I can't really imagine that, no. All I'm imagining is
that's Sunday, Saturday. What about Sonny at half time and all that? That's going to be special, isn't it? Favourite son, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way he handled last week was credit to him and shows how his class and maturity. He's going to be missed around here, not just on the field but off the field. He's been a great servant of the club and get a great opportunity to show. Or the fans to show their support of him at half time. So hopefully, plenty get along and plenty cheer him on.
In hindsight, I think that was a bit emotionally draining, like it was a bit of a shock, and the players are so revered around here. Do you feel like it took a little bit of a toll, if any?
I didn't really think about that. It could have, especially for some, but it's hard to judge, so don't really worry about that stuff.
He's highly rated, isn't he? Sorry, Tim. Top 5 or 6. I mean, you don't do. I know you don't do that. Where does he sit?
I definitely haven't thought about ranking our past players. But he's in the top handful. He's been a star. And a lot gets talked about Sonny about his the challenges early in his career. But I remember as a recruiting staff here when I retired, went and watched him play Colts at Swan Districts, and he just oozed class and game sense and evasion. Probably wasn't as quick as some of the other smaller forwards, but his strengths got him out of trouble, and we saw that translate to AFL footy. And whether it was midfield or forward, he had impact on games, and he's a superstar.
Justin, just went on Hawthorn, their forward line, potentially Cole Shadir or Mitch Lewis coming in, and Marbio Chol, Gunston. You've got the small ones there as well. The ability for them to hit the scoreboard, how do you really limit that this week?
Get the matchups right, and then make sure we're not probably too matchup orientated, and we work together. They've got a good mix of talls and smalls. They score at ground level and by marking the footy. So make sure we stop supply, but really work well together and make sure we buffer pressure down there because they score in a lot of different ways. So the forward line's going really well, but so are the other areas of their game as well.